This year, my hometown, Copenhagen, or at least the closest thing I ever had to a hometown, was named one of the world's most livable cities again. Good to be home. And being back home for a weekend and hanging out around my favorite spots in the city made me think whether Copenhagen actually deserves this title at all.
It's kind of funny to think about it now that there was a time in my life where I really used to hate Copenhagen. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning in Copenhagen. Not really, but that's Copenhagen for you. The weather here is usually not that great. But I just woke up. That is a lie. I woke up like an hour ago and had 5 cups of coffee. That's why I'm in a good mood right now. But yeah, I'm about to head out for a run. One of the best things about Copenhagen is its location. Copenhagen is located on an island right by water. There's basically water everywhere. We have beaches in the city, man-made beaches, but we do have them. So my personal favorite thing to do in Copenhagen is just going for a walk or for a run by the water. And some of Copenhagen's top attractions, like top places that you need to see, are also located by the water. So I thought that going for a run in the morning could be like a nice way to start this vlog. And we're obviously gonna start at the one and only Nyhavn. If you ever see a picture of Copenhagen or a postcard or whatever saying Copenhagen, the picture will most likely be taken at Nyhavn. Nyhavn is this little colorful street. It's very old and very beautiful, and majority of Copenhagen does not look like that, but still Nyhavn is probably like the #1, the first place that you need to see when you come to Copenhagen. Okay, enough talking, let's go. This is a very Danish view, even though the weather is not that great. It's like 16 degrees Celsius. There are people swimming in the water, which is not a very unusual sight at all in Denmark. It is very normal for people to like dress up as if it was summer when it's like 15 degrees outside. I mean, I do it myself as well. Like, I shouldn't say anything. Oh my god, the sun is coming! Yes! Maybe I'll go for a swim. Am I that YOLO? I don't know. Still don't remember why I thought it was a good idea. The thing about Copenhagen is that we do have good facilities here, meaning we have the water, we have, you know, beaches, whatever. But we don't really have the weather for it. So most of the time it's unfortunately way too cold. But I mean, people get used to it and, you know, we make it work anyways. Good to be home. Okay, so it's actually not as cold as I expected. It's also not really warm, but it's not freezing cold. Luckily, it's not too windy today, and that's like another thing about Copenhagen. Often it's not even about the temperature, it's about the wind. Since we are on an island, as I said, the wind tends to be quite strong here. Made it to the one and only Nyhavn. You know how I said that it's not windy today? It is windy. Another stop on our running tour of Copenhagen is gonna be a very famous place, the Royal the Royal Palace. What's the difference between castle and palace? Not sure, but what you see behind me is called Amalienborg, and it is where the Danish royal family lives. The queen lives here in one of these buildings. So I was running and I almost missed it because, as I said, it is very small, but we made it. There is then the Lille Havfru, also known as the Little Mermaid. Okay, mission accomplished. Now let's go back. So what you see behind me is Kongens Nytorv. It's one of the main squares here in Copenhagen, and I came here for one and only reason. I came here for a bakery. There is a Lagkagehuset right there. Lagkagehuset is a Danish bakery chain. And if there's one thing you need to know about Denmark is that bakeries are freaking incredible. Gardens, heaven. I mean, just look at this. Should I take a piece? Whenever people ask me about like my favorite food in Denmark, I always struggle to say what my favorite food is, because the thing is that I don't really like meat. I mean, I do not like meat and I don't really eat it that much. And here in Denmark, a lot of the like national dishes are often like a piece of meat and some potatoes on the side, and I don't really eat that. But one thing that I definitely recommend you to try when you're in Denmark is bakery food. I think bakery food, so like pastry, bread, like everything, sandwiches are amazing in Denmark. I am back from the run and I'm feeling so good right now. Going for a run is just always the good idea, right? And right now I'm gonna go and do something really crazy. I'm gonna go swimming outside. I am mainly doing it for the vlog, I'm not gonna lie, because I do think that people watching the vlog really do care whether I go swimming in a freezing cold water or not. No, but I really do feel like swimming and being by the water is like such a big part of culture here in Copenhagen, and people go swimming a lot even when it's cold, because it's cold most of the time. Some people even go swimming in the winter. Not me, but yeah, okay, let's go. I honestly don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I'm afraid to take my bathrobe off.
Fun fact, when I was growing up, swimming in the very center of Copenhagen was not really a thing. I mean, some people of course did it, but what happened is that a couple of years back, the authorities decided to really clean the water and make more of these designated swimming areas, which is so cool because, you know, swimming with this beautiful view around you in the center of the city. I think it's one of the most unique things about Copenhagen.
Okay, that was fun actually. That was a very good idea after all. I feel ready to eat my tuna sandwich. I just put my sunglasses on and then the sun just went away. Well, that's Denmark for you. Anyways, the plan for right now is to eat my tuna sandwich, have my coffee, and then I'm gonna hang out and show you more of Copenhagen. I think I'm gonna go to Christianshavn first, and then we'll see. Let's keep it exciting and keep it a secret. It's kind of funny to think about it now that there was a time in my life where I really used to hate Copenhagen. Maybe hate is like a little bit too much to say, but I certainly did not want to live here anymore. In high school, all I wanted to do really is to figure out how I can move abroad and how I can live somewhere else. And now when I come here, I'm like, it's such a nice city after all.
So what I didn't like about living here was, well, the weather. I think that's my number one. Winters are very long and dark, and even summer is not very warm. Copenhagen is not a huge city, so it does have a more of everyone knows everyone kind of vibe. And I think for me, it just didn't feel very exciting anymore. And another thing is that I often hear people labeling Copenhagen as a very open-minded city, and I think it can be true in some areas of life, but it's also not necessarily the case in other areas. If you fit the overall vibe here, Copenhagen can be great, but if you stand out from the crowd, I don't think it's the easiest place to live then.
When I was younger, when I was a kid, and especially like young teenage years, I used to think that Copenhagen was like the coolest city on earth. You know that age when you first start to go out and party and like you become more independent for the first time in your life? At that age, I used to freaking love this city and I was really happy being here. But I think with time, especially in high school, I just felt this like, I don't know how to explain it, inner need, I guess, to leave. But I also think it's not necessarily Copenhagen's fault, it's more of like hometown thing. So I think right now I'm gonna take this little pedestrian slash bike bridge to the other side. It is like a very Copenhagen thing to do, to build something only for people and for bikes, meaning no cars. To be honest, like when you live in Copenhagen, like nobody has cars. Like yeah, if you live in the suburbs, then yeah, but like if you live in the city, it's very normal not to own a car, and basically like everybody, you know, bikes. I absolutely do understand why Copenhagen is so high up on the list of the best cities to live. Copenhagen is a very livable city. It's a city where a lot of attention is being paid to people and what people need. The city is relatively safe compared to cities like London or Paris. It's very safe, quite clean, great public transportation system. There are a lot of nice green areas or just areas by the water for people to just sit and hang out. And then of course Denmark is also a country that is quite, it can be a very comfortable place to live. It's not a big country, it's a country where social welfare is very developed. Education is free, healthcare is free, of course not free. I don't like saying that it's free because people do pay it for taxes. The taxes are very high here. If you want to know more about it, like I will link my video that I make about things that you probably didn't know about Denmark, with like interesting facts about Denmark. Two things that make Copenhagen not such a good place to live, according to me, are weather and prices. I did talk about weather enough, don't worry, I'm not gonna continue talking about weather in this video. But the prices, we haven't talked about that yet. One thing is sure, no one is gonna mistake me for local today because I'm wearing a freaking winter outfit. And everyone who's Danish is naked, basically. I'm way too hot. I mean, you know, like Danes are literally wearing summer clothes because it is 20 degrees, which is summer in Denmark. 20 degrees is summer here. I can guarantee you that if you would find out how much this building costs, you would be shocked because property is extremely, extremely expensive in Copenhagen. As it is in many big cities, yes, but here it really is expensive. Besides rent or just property cost, basically everything is expensive here. Food is gonna be expensive, going out is expensive, eating out is extremely expensive. Two things I always seem to be forgetting about is one, how cool people dress here, and two, how similar to each other people dress here and look in general. Every 2 seconds I think I see someone that I know and then I realize that it's not someone I know. But to be fair, like I also look like people here. I mean, like dress wise. I always feel so inspired, like fashion wise, when I walk around this area. So this area is like all these, you know, small streets next to Kongens, and it's a really cool area to walk. Like there are a lot of nice shops here, restaurants, cafes. Obviously fashion is something that Copenhagen and Denmark in general are really known for, and in recent years I feel like a lot of Danish fashion brands are becoming even more popular, and Copenhagen Fashion Week is actually becoming like one of the most like important fashion weeks in Europe, and I really do understand why. I mean, I still feel like Copenhagen for me is like the best place to shop. When I was younger, I used to party a lot in this bar. It was kind of like a cheap place where you would get like 10 tequila shots for 100 crowns, which was so cheap actually when I think about it now. I'm sure you cannot get it for that price anymore. What also makes Copenhagen a pretty nice city to live is that the city is relatively small. I mean, not small, it's like the population of Copenhagen is 1.5 million, which is big enough to really have everything, and obviously it is the capital, so everything is here, but at the same time it's still like small enough to not be like super overwhelming, and you can basically like within like the central areas you can like pretty much walk everywhere or just bike everywhere. Something that is really popular in Denmark are hot dogs. You can find stands like this one with hot dogs basically like everywhere in Copenhagen, and every single 7-Eleven will have hot dogs. Wait, let me actually investigate if they have vegan, vegetarian options. Let me see. Yep.
Spending the day just walking around the city made me remember why Copenhagen is such a great place to live. It's a beautiful city and it's a place where you can really have a good and comfortable life. So overall, I do think that Copenhagen deserved the title of one of the world's most livable cities. But does it mean that everyone would like it here? Probably not. My best advice to whoever is considering to move to a new city is listen to the good, but pay even more attention to the bad, because there is no such a thing as a perfect city, right?